Well, actually, originally I trained as an architect. I'd done my first 4 years, and I ended up just taking a summer job in a pre-press department, and sort of learned the kind of basics. And this was 1995, so it was still doing kind of 4-color separations and scanning and so on. But they set up a little internet company, so I joined that, and never really looked back. Forgot about architecture. Got exposed to this whole wonderful world of advertising, and was really intrigued by it. And just as time went on, it just get more and more involved, and it just ended up where we are today, I guess. I guess the next couple of years are really exciting for us as an agency. We've got the merger of 2 of the smaller creative agencies within the UK into Glue, which is really kind of entrenching our position as a real digital specialist. But at the same time, really doing justice to the breakthroughs we've made over the last couple of years and proving our ability to manage a client's whole marketing activity and kind of really lead on the integrated side as well. The key thing about getting started in any industry, I think, is really knowing your strengths and really playing to your strengths. That focus is a really critical part of our success, but it's also any individual career success we find is people being really honest with themselves about what they can do, what they can't do, and making sure they work with people who really, I guess, fill out any gaps that they might have in their own abilities. I think that personally the biggest strength would be I guess the ability to understand what's going on and what the most important things to actually focus on are. I think the weakness is probably the same. It's kind of getting involved in all of these different things and really getting drawn into far too many things. So actually just absolutely contradicting the kind of advice I would give about what you should do and actually in focusing. So I guess it's 2 sides of the same coin, really. I think the main thing I'm personally concerned about would be the UK's the gap between the promises made around sustainability and the changes that are going to need to be required over the next 10 years, especially in the energy supply and so on, and really the talk that goes on and the actual action that's taking place. There's a huge opportunity to create a whole new definition of prosperity around these type of issues, and the production and consumption of goods and services is a core part of that. So for the advertising industry and our role within that, these things are all really kind of closely interrelated. That would be the kind of main issue. I think the getting past the ideologies and getting past the empty promises and actually making stuff happen is a wonderful opportunity. We just need to take it, and I think the vacuum of leadership is what's holding that back at the moment. I don't know if there's a magic formula as such, but one bit of advice I heard was really it only works if it all works. And the actual ability to bring lots of different strands together and really make sure you're good enough at all of them is really kind of critical. I think what allows us to do that is basically the people, the staff that we've always, people tend to stay here for a good deal of time, 5, 6, 7 years in many cases. We've actually got our first employee who's going to be here for 10 years, and we've only been going for 10 years since last October. So actually taking care of people, keeping hold of them, making sure you give them the right opportunities to develop their own careers, that's really the fundamental difference here. Never knowingly on time, I think, would be the title. I'm always on time for the important meetings, but I tend to I tend to be rather. I'm not a great timekeeper, unfortunately. Gosh, I've accused of having quite eclectic taste. I think that basically means people don't really like the music I like, but I don't know, anything by Talking Heads or Sonic Youth gets a lot of play. Great electronic artist called Ulrich Snaus, who I've listened to recently, has just been fantastic. So, lots of good stuff. I don't know about the best thing. I tend to get very embarrassed about what people say about me in the press. I'm not very good with it. So, I mean, I think the worst thing is probably being accused of looking like Macaulay Culkin, which wasn't great. Yeah, I think the most embarrassing thing was probably being described as kind of the most influential person in new media and so on. I thought that was rather presumptuous and rather hilarious, but I don't know. I don't pay too much attention to it. So. I don't know. It would have to be chocolate orientated in some way. So I guess it would be obviously some maybe I quite like the Kit Kat chunky caramels. I don't know if I'd bring 3 of them. Maybe if there was some magical machine to make Kit Kat chunky caramels, that would definitely be one of them. Probably an iPod, certainly not an iPad, and a pencil and paper, I guess, if that counts as one.